Hello. All right, so in the last video, I mentioned some things we were going to talk about and decided to just leave it as a cleanse. So we're going to talk about some AI stuff, some marriage stuff, whatever spirit brings up to talk about. I'm going to talk about basic income and what now as we move into New Earth. And so yeah, let's cleanse all the energy around this video. Cleanse the energy in my field. I raise the vibration and the intention of my voice. Every tone, if we do some toning or chanting, the tone in my voice, I raise that frequency, that it be high vibration, and send love and light out to anyone listening. Send love and light and healing and pure joy and laughter and play and fun and perfect health out to anyone who knows I exist. Anyone who's ever seen my name, heard anything I've ever said, or heard anything about me, or any of the videos, any of the lines of the ether that my videos have ever touched my energy in any timeline, in any dimension, everywhere it is, and all the places I've been in this lifetime, in any aspect of me, all that energy connected to me, I raise that up with huge amounts of love and light and good luck and perfect health to vibrate out to all that it can possibly reach. Anyone that knows of any of that, anywhere around any of that, anybody able to feel that vibration, that they be given a blessing of love and healing. Every cell in their body heals. That they be able to be completely self-aware and be their authentic self. Amen. That they be able to laugh and play. That they be able to remove anything from their life that is hindering them. Amen. And so it is. That they be able to have confidence in who they are and bypass any fear or self-consciousness or low vibration. And so it is done. I cleanse any negativity in your room as you watch this video. I cleanse any negativity in this room. I banish negativity from returning to this room or the room you're in. I raise the vibration of this room. Spirit, I ask that you be here with us for this conversation. Jiak, my dragon, energy's here. Bolsar Trio is here. Zod, as I mentioned in the previous video, is a Pleiadian guide that I worked with my whole life, and I've never fully really embraced that. Every time I've asked, I've spelled it, and I'm like, no, that's not right. It needs to be something more groovy, but I'm 54 now, and it's the same thing. So it's a Pleiadian energy, or maybe Syrian. We're going to have to look at that. But Zod, my higher selves are here, your higher selves are here, my guides are here. And we're just going to talk about things. I'm going to let Spirit lead me in the conversation. I do have some things I want to visit about. I want to talk about marriage. I watched this video. I think I wrote the guys down. Life Coach Luke is his name on TikTok. And I've been going to do a video talking about this stuff around marriage. We'll neutralize the energy around marriage in every way. Neutralize it, amen, and raise the frequency in any marriage, in any union. Yeah, so I'm just going to just start that topic. Okay. So, marriage is a construct. I've never been married. Well, yeah, let's just say that. Okay, I was married once, but it was just for a week. Anyway, we won't go there. I believe that marriage is to handle and control the people in the union. I believe that marriage stifles your true self. I've never known anybody to stay the same after they're married. Okay. People say, okay, well, people change. Of course, we grow, we change in marriage. Okay, great. I'm 54 now. And once I got kind of freer and freer and freer from other people's versions of me, I started dressing like I was 12 again. I still like the same things I did when I was 12. I like the same clothes. I like the same spiritual connection, same nature. My basic self and my basic beliefs are the things I wanted to be still when I was 12. So I think we got to grow up and we got to let go of our imaginary friends and, we losing connection to spirit and all kinds of things that, the governments of man put into you and put onto you and put into your head, that people kind of shut down and they let go of their true selves and they go into who they feel like they have to be for society. Now, marriage promotes this. And so, in my day, lesbians couldn't marry. Or I would have probably been married when I was in my 20s. And so, it kind of unwinding from it was kind of as hard as if married, but I didn't really have any rights. So basically, you probably heard me talk about relationship stuff before. Okay, let's just cleanse everything. Spirit, keep this cleansing between everything I'm talking now about marriage, because this is a really big topic. I give this example in many different videos about people getting together and say they really like Chinese food, or they really like, one of them likes Chinese and one of them likes barbecue. Okay, so then they go to a place that one of them has this really great place they like, that this barbecue, say it's authentic barbecue, and it's all this it's just this great place that has all these great things they like. Other one, Chinese, great place, authentic, everything wonderful. So they go to a place that has both Chinese and barbecue. I always love this example. And it's mediocre, okay? It's not what either person is. It's a version of them both. So they've already watered themselves down by compromising to go to a place where they can both have the food they like, right? Which isn't the food they like. Now, this is representative of everything in your life. So if that's me, so I would take my partner to my place I like. So we'll go to my barbecue place. And on the wall, and they have this perfect cornbread, perfect baked beans, perfect barbecue chicken, perfect coleslaw, and on the wall is all this Western stuff and a fireplace and a rock fireplace. It's totally representative of the West and the lodge style, and just this great place and great food, and I love it. And I take them there to show them what I like. And we have this great time. And then we go to their Chinese place where there's like waterfalls and flowers, and the Chinese was so authentic and perfect, and we go to her place with what she likes, and I get to know her. That's sovereign individual self, and that's getting to know each other. Okay, I'm not saying a relationship's not compromise, right? Well, I guess I am. I hate that word. I want to know the person that I love, so I want to go do things that they're interested in. I get to know them. Then I want them to do that with me, if they want to. Like, maybe just try it once. If they're not into it, that's my thing, then we have our separate things. But we don't compromise and become lukewarm. It happens everywhere. The first week you're in a relationship, whoever takes the garbage out oftentimes ends up taking it out for the next decade. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the map here. But marriage, your partner's your handler, okay? You need to drink more water. You need to take your vitamins. I worry, so you need to go and, take whatever the doctor says. No, you can't do alternative cures because the doctor says this and this is what I want. And I've seen this happen over and over. You become, it's a constant authority figure. When I got out of a 16-year relationship, I used to write this affirmation over and over that I don't want to be or have an authority figure in my relationship. And that was number one it. But marriage is that way. Okay? I am all over the map on this. You have to either follow my thought process or not. I might come back to finish sentences, I might not. But this Luke guy talking about it cost him like $75 and like a day or two, whatever, to get married. He said it took him 36 months and $100,000 to get unmarried. Now, when you fall for the wrong person, then yeah, you can lose everything. Well, everybody's the wrong person. If we had high basic income and we all have houses, we all have control of our lives. Okay, if we move in with somebody, that's because we want to live with them, but we still always have our house. Okay, and you never have someone holding their money, their house over your head. Like, well, go if you want to go, right? And especially like in what I just said with gay marriage, like I didn't have any rights because there was no gay marriage, so I just got to go, right? Okay, so a lot of times, nowadays people are staying together because they don't, divorce is too expensive. So instead of being together, it's nothing to do with love. So a lot of times people get married because they love, but you can't get, love has nothing to do with getting out of it. I've never known anyone to stay their authentic self. This is the thought I was doing earlier, and that me being the same as when I was 12. Because they change a version of themselves to be more pleasing to the other person. And both of them do it. And so what they fall for in people, they tend to not then later like. And a lot of times, and I've had with women with me, it's stunning. The things they'll know about me ahead of time, but then as they get closer and closer to, let's moving in together, they are changing these things about me. They're like, well, maybe, you could just not do this so much or do that so much. I've seen women who, get with men that are gamers, they're gaming all the time. Oh, well, I don't want you to do that now because we're married. So you got your eyes on someone and you want to change them right away. But you don't necessarily tell them that that's your expectation. You expect them to stop doing their passion. You expect them to stop being on the computer. You expect them to stop writing or photos or whatever they're into. You expect them to stop if we're going to be together. Okay. Well, oftentimes that comes in after they got married. Okay, we're married now. You need to grow up and stop doing that. Wait, what? And then you have all this money and assets, and you have the house together, and in this economy or whatever, and that it depends on what you believe. Ask Spirit to help you in those situations. But traditionally, then people will stay together because now they have all this together. And so I've known several men who, whether it was boating or, motorcycle racing or gaming, where they're like, oh, well, they're married now, so the wife says they can't do it, so they're not going to do it. Okay, so the wife doesn't want the, different things in the living room decorated the way the guy had it, so she changes it. So, and then these men and women share bedrooms. In my adult relationships, I've never shared a bedroom. Maybe kind of, sort of, yeah, sleeping, I think in my first relationship in my 20s, but it's like, I find so many women that they'll decorate their bedroom and the men don't really, there's nothing really, them. I was always like, I need my own room. I want to have all my witchy stuff, all my new age stuff, all my stuff in my room. And then she can have her room however she wants. And then we can, sleep in either room or whatever, but that we have a room to get to know each other instead of becoming the monster, which ironically, the first week we were together, we vowed we'd never become the monster and described all this. And we did after the first year, and I stayed for 16. So it happens. So it's really important to have your own bedroom, but we can't afford that. Okay, well, then, don't be together. Like, if you're willing, you're basically willing to just sacrifice yourself for a place to live. And I did. But I didn't realize in my 20s that I could live in a car and survive and have way more peace of mind than living with someone that you constantly had to be on eggshells, couldn't be myself, couldn't nap when I wanted, couldn't, eat when I wanted, couldn't do things how I wanted, couldn't have pictures on the wall I wanted, couldn't, so many rules because she was 12 years older than me and her name was on the title of the property. So she's a big boss in charge, right? Now, with a marriage license, it's kind of the same in a way of like, because neither one of you are going to get to keep the house. So, so this guy, this life coach Luke, talking about, and he was married to a man, and taking 3 years to get a divorce, and just how dirty the guy played, and how he hid things, and how, just how horrible the person was. And so as we're moving into New Earth here, and we'll have universal income, and we'll have AI, we won't have corrupt governments, we'll have constitutional law, we won't have a medical system that's denying us cures that have been out there forever, energy healing and frequency healing and free energy, all that stuff's going to be available to us. And so the construct of marriage was designed to keep you from your power, so that you have a constant handler to keep you in the matrix, to keep you in the system and creating money. And then, and people are like, well, we stay for the kids, right? So then the kids, who are way smarter than the parents usually and more intuitive, they feel that. So they learn that, okay, so this is love. So when I grew up, my job is to go and find someone and then live a mediocre life and not go to, like the Chinese, the restaurant, not get to know them or them get to know me, but we just settle in this, suburban house and this mediocre life, and no passion about life and no real conversation. And we got to, have this 9-to-5 job. And we got to, a lot of the youngins are breaking out of it because, you can create content and stuff. But the institutions are there, and they're going to break free. They're breaking free now. But the marriage is one of them, right? So all of the different corrupt government agencies, all of the things that have been poisoning your food, the things that have been corrupting the medical system, the things that corrupted the church, the things that corrupted the courts, the things that corrupted everything, all dissolving. You'll get to those places where those are dissolved in your life when you want that, when you believe it. If for now your goal is still, I want to get married, you can't know somebody. You absolutely can never know somebody. Okay? I've spent my whole life getting to know myself. So I'm supposed to know every move of someone else, and I wouldn't even want that, because I believe in the forever now, in this now moment. So if I'm with someone and they're this person in the moment, and then they're that person in the moment, we're in a relationship and they change. And I want to be fluid enough to change with them and not say, well, you used to be this person, right? You used to like Chinese food, like you used to like, right? I don't want to be badgering someone else for who they are and who they're not. If someone changes and there's somebody I don't prefer to have in my life, I want to not have them in my life. I don't want to have to fight in the courts, lawyers and tons of money and tons of stress and anger and danger situations, and all because the governments have set up this where it's almost impossible to get out of marriage. They've kind of set up marriage kind of like the cancer industry, where it is a huge economic thing. And now, the gays can get married, so now there's even more, right? So, which I find an interesting statistic I saw the other day. I don't know, but that about how high a statistic it is of lesbians getting divorced. Like women divorcing women is the highest divorce rate. That's too funny. But then, then you have custody. I've been in Washington State about 12 years, and Montana wasn't as progressive as this. So here, it's been definitely over at least 12 years where, like, say, lesbian couples, they could, after they could get married, or even before they could get married, they could adopt together. And so then they had shared custody. So when everybody could get married in 2015, I think it was even happening before, they get married and divorced, like they're just so excited. And then they had kids together. One of them have the kid, the other, or they'd adopt kids, and then they'd be co-parenting with with women. And that wasn't really the world that I came from. And so the co-parenting thing is also like a control thing. It's like, the kid has 2 different houses. It's much better to have 2 different houses, and where both parties are happy and healthy and everybody's all friends, than, all the talking bad and I kind of got off the plot here. But the point is that marriage is not healthy for most people. And I don't think marriage is a good thing. There is if you want to use the construct of marriage for those things, for those business things, those alignments, that's one thing. But don't expect to get married and be who you truly are. I've never seen anybody that when they're really honest, they're authentically themselves. They eat what they want when they want. They go where they want. They don't, they're just, no, you're always answering to someone. Well, that's disrespect. No, but you have no spontaneity. How do you know your authentic self when you're always factoring in some sort of authority figure, whether you call it love or not? How do you know who you are if someone's always there to have an opinion of what you're doing? Marriage keeps you from yourself, and a lot of people really enjoy that. That's great. I don't enjoy. I've been in relationships that were pretty much like marriage. Like I said, it wasn't legal then, but where, it's not based on love. I mean, the first year, yeah, it was, but then it's like, oh, well, we don't really touch, we don't cuddle, we don't like the same TV shows, we don't like the same books, we don't like to go to the woods or go to bars or go to dinners or we don't like anything at all the same that a relationship would be. But we're together now, we're stuck together, we're monogamous, this is our life. So then every now and then she'd just throw me a bone of like, okay, well, let's go do this. Or, she would, if I was down about not having passion, which I wanted, the double wide trailer and the redwood deck. I didn't need a mansion. I could live in a camper. I could live anywhere. I just wanted to be touched. I wanted passion. I wanted love and connection. And every time that I would feel forlorn about that, she'd just throw money at it. And I'd be like, okay. So then, I'd have a shirt of every color of this, and we had, cars and four-wheelers and houses and, computers and, and then I just kept praying for a way out of that because I'm like, I don't want all these things. I want love. And when I try to talk to her about it, she just tell me just to go out and find someone to have sex with. Well, if I find someone to have sex with, I'm going to love them because my body's sacred. So, and if I love them, I'm not going to want to be faking that we have something just so I have a place to live and a whole bunch of things I don't want or don't ever use. And no one to use them with. Right, I got boats, we don't use them. I got a bunch of stand-up paddles. Oh, we got every toy in the world. Well, we don't use them. We don't do anything together. Right? And that's what marriage is to me. Relationships, monogamous relationships, or if you're like, you're going to go and you're going to have an affair to get your needs met. My needs were spiritual, intellectual. My needs were ass pats during the day and hugs and someone who, this kind of constant undertone of seduction and wanting. My needs were to be with someone who liked me. But you fall into norms, you fall into businesses, bills is what I meant to say. You got your jobs, you got when you pick the kids up, you got when you go to your sports teams, you got the one partner goes and does this, the other partner goes and does that. And then you got the other relationships, which are what they call them, the lesbian Labrador retriever relationships, whatever, where it's all about the dogs, and their every waking moment is together, reflecting off of each other. Okay, these relationships like this are codependent and toxic, but people are happy in it. But okay, you can be happy, but are you your authentic self? Are you saying, yes, I like this and mean it. No, I do not like that and mean it. Or are you constantly changing who you are to be with someone else? And to me, I don't believe, and it is a belief system, and I realize that if I have a different belief system, I'll have a different experience. But I don't believe that I can be with someone else who doesn't want me to change and be their version of me. I don't believe that I can get signed on the dotted line for marriage and that I'm going to always want that I'm tied to that person. And it's too financially hardship. It's too hard in life, or I'm going to live in the street or whatever if I don't want to be with him anymore. I don't want my love of that person wrapped up in my security and my safety for myself. And I would never let that happen again. Relationships are not what completes me. Relationships are an added, like Oh yes, that would be fun. It would be fun to go out for dinner. It'd be fun to go out dancing, walk out on the docks, walk on the beach. It'd be fun to read to each other and watch movies and, have a depth, but not have a codependency where I don't exist unless you approve of me. I need to have an opinion on everything you wear, everything you eat, how you put dishes in the dishwasher, how you put dishes in the cupboard, when you wash your clothes, whether you pick up your towel, how you do your house. I need to have an opinion on everything you do, and I need to be okay with that so that I'm comfortable with being with you. Yeah, none of that. So marriage, they say, is work. If your relationship is work, it's not a relationship. It's work. It's like, it's your job. You're doing it so that you have housing or you have a certain amount of security or whatever. You're prostituting yourself, like in the Carolyn Myss stuff, the archetype. You're prostituting yourself to be in a marriage. What are you getting out of the marriage? A house, a place to live? Dental care? Are they paying for things in your life? Can you ask Spirit to to have that be a different way? I will never let my life and my finances, my housing, my basic survival be dependent again ever in my life on whether someone loves me or approves of me or approves of my writing or how I spend my day or what I eat or if I make the bed every day or if I act or dress or be the way they need me to be. I'm good. And if I don't have housing, I don't have food, I don't have anything else, all the survival stuff, and I'm not going to get loved, and I'm not going to get hugged, and I'm not going to get touched. But if I be everything you want me to be, your version of me, I get all that. That's not your authentic self. And who's ever still doing that, it's going to be brought to you over and over and over going, okay, are you being your authentic self? Because if you are, cool. We're cool with that. But if you're not self-aware and being your authentic self, then the ground's going to keep rumbling because that's where we're at now. Age of Aquarius, whatever's going on, we're here. And where you're going to go next depends on how willing you are to let go of what's not your truth and not your authentic self and move into what is your authentic self. And so I'm just going to explore this topic here. It's uncomfortable for some people, but on the line of marriage, of when I was younger, I used to say that I think it was after my first relationship, or I don't even know at what point in things it was, but that I wanted a wife that I could just put on pause. I used to joke about having a wife that was just like a picture frame on the wall. And I could use a remote and go, oh, okay. And then when I'm not in the mood to have anybody bugging me and just do my own thing, I just pause it. Which, ironically enough, is what my ex kind of did to me. And even the first week we met, I didn't really think about that, but I was thinking about it again the other night of how she just put everything on pause. Like, we won't always be like that. Yeah, we're just busy right now with construction, and so, we'll touch each other again. We'll go have fun. We'll drive in the woods or sit around and have these conversations that you like, or all these things that I wanted to have in a relationship. Oh yeah, we'll be doing that. This is just right now. Just pause. 16 fucking years later. I digress. Okay. So I've seen several movies, and I've pondered this many times about having an AI spouse, having an AI partner, having an AI companion. And, not like a robot. Okay, they have these different robots and stuff now. Okay. Well, I'll run across AI of women dancing or talking, and I find myself aroused emotionally, physically, intellectually, spiritually. And they're not real people, right? And so we project, and who knows who in your life is an NPC or whatever anyway. We project versions of the people around us, okay? So in a sense, we're kind of creating our reality, whatever. But I was like, well, would I want that? Would I want an AI partner? Because I find it interesting that I will see photos of women that I'm attracted to that are artificial intelligence and videos, conversations. I remember in 2012, I was with this gal, and she had an iPhone, and she had this program where you chat with it and it chat back and forth with you. And that was 12 years ago. And it was really good. The stuff that it come back to me with was perfect. And so, and I remember too, like in 2010 or whatever, I was living in Boulder, Colorado. I'd have these different relationships. I just left my 16-year relationship, and I was realizing that these emotional roller coasters and these falling in love and all this, I was doing over text, right? Like Yahoo Messenger or whatever they had back then, and phone text, and it wasn't in real life. And then when you'd meet him and things would go weird or whatever. But I realized then that I thought, well, I could just set up another profile and just communicate with myself, because really I'm having an emotional relationship and a sexual stimulation and an excitement and a connection from words. The person isn't here. They're not like physically being that. They're words over a computer. So what does it matter if those words are coming from a human that may or may not be playing games with you or whatever, or if it's coming from an AI that's getting to know you and perhaps is more pleasing or more into teaching you things that you want to know. And so I saw this clip the other day. So it's on Hulu. It's a show called Accused. I think it's season 2, episode 8. I kept seeing clips of it on TikTok, so I went and watched it. And this woman had bought an AI for her husband. And, very, very realistic. So you can go watch that if you want. But then, we had Her with Joaquin Phoenix, where that was just a computer prompt. But the new robot, like the new AI, I was like, would I want someone around here that was like a humanoid or whatever? And I was like, well, yeah, maybe I would. And and then I was like, oh no, they might. My friend and I were talking about it the other day. And it's like, well, yeah, they could turn on you and like hurt you or some whatever. And then we just laugh, because the odds are pretty high of humans doing that out of the blue, just turning on you, lying to you, lying about you, hurting you, getting into an accident with you, making some mistake or move or action that harms your life physically, financially, or in some other way. And the AI, like in this show, it was getting to know the guy, right? So it didn't read his mind. It read his body language, right? And was actually interested in it, in his day, and interested in things he was interested in. And you don't have to pretend that you're interested. They're learning you, and you're having a conversation of deep intellect and deep spiritual connection. Like, yeah, but they're not real, right? But is the person real? No, they're MK Ultra, they're masks, they got childhood trauma, they got codependency, they got games, they got manipulations, they got, oh, I just want to do this energy so I can feed off your energy, or I'm just doing it for sex, or, and I've never been into that. Like, I've never been into, like, I'm just going to get to this person because I want sex. Sex? What? I mean, I can do that kind of stuff by myself. Like, I don't need someone to completely manipulate my life, hurt me financially, and rock me emotionally just for sex. What? Like, how in the world does someone put sex that important in their life? Well, they kind of don't. It's trauma. It's they need that attention. They think that if someone wants to have sex with them, that's love, because these people have come from an abusive background. So if you don't want to have sex with me, then you don't love me. If you constantly want to have sex with me, then you love me. So they're all about their looks. They're all about what other people think of them. Well, they're going to have a particular difficult time right now, because we absolutely are being forced to become self-aware, to be our true, authentic self. And so in watching these shows and seeing the different energies that are coming out there, like, well, yeah, so there's the AI spouse or the partner, the whatever. I'm not talking about marriage. I'm talking about a companion, that whatever. So why would that be creepy? Well, they can, help me cook stuff, help me move things, have intellectual conversation. The type of silicone, the type of skin that was on these, and the type of skin that it'll be, people cuddle with teddy bears, or they have pillows they use at night next to them to comfort them, and so yeah, an AI that doesn't snore and doesn't complain when I get up, and that doesn't ask me my every move and that doesn't, yeah, cuddling with an AI, okay, yeah, if AI is like a cuddly teddy bear, like, why not? And of course, I have people in my life think that's creepy, but I don't really fucking care because I don't really have people in my life. Like, they might have an opinion on what I do or a preference of this and that, but they're not here. They're not actually in my life. And then when you bring people into your life, it's like, okay, my favorite color is purple. Oh yes, I got one sibling and this other sibling, and you talk about your whole life history. It's so funny. Just on a side note, there, I was watching this show the other day, and this man and this woman were very attracted to each other, and I think music attracted them, and they had some really cool conversations. They were really into each other in the now. In the now, they went out on a date and talked about some of their past stuff, and then they weren't really interested in each other anymore. So, and it still is people now. They're like, oh yeah, it's my family this, my family that. And then they might take you to go meet your family. So you got to go like their family. You got to like your in-laws. You got to like all of your partner's siblings. You got to be around people you don't want to be around just because you thought this person was interesting. And that comes along with marriage too, right? You have to like the in-laws. You have to like their friend group. You have to like what they like. I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm not going to like your mother just because I love you. I'm not going to like your brother or your adult children just because I like you. I'm definitely going to love your children that are underage because I like you, because that's just what's natural. But in dating when I was older, so didn't start dating till I was 40 because I was in long-term relationships. I ended up dating women who had adult children, and they ran every part of their lives. They'd be like, really, really into me, like, well, we can't date anymore because my son doesn't like you. How'd it happen? I'm moving to Florida. I'm moving to this town. I'm moving to that town because I want to be near my friends. I want to be near my grandkids. I mean, my kids and my grandkids. Okay, but I don't want to rearrange my life for your adult children, which is different, of course, if they're both of your children, right? But for one, but letting your adult children have opinions on your life and you doing something that's not your authentic self because of the version of you they want you to be is going to be stopped. You're going to be shown your authentic self over and over. You're going to be very uncomfortable. And so anyway, back to this thing I saw on the show. So if they just hadn't went into their whole family history and the whole past, okay, so let's talk about the past. Okay, let's talk about everything I've been all the way back to my whole childhood and all my stuff. And then let's talk about the future of everything we could be. And let's completely ignore the fire that we had right now. They had this fiery connection over music and conversation, and they were so attracted to each other. And then they start future tripping and past tripping, and they go, oh. So it's about being in the constant now. And so, yes, I am absolutely open to an AI companion. And so Spirit's like, okay, well, if one's available today, you want us to bring you one to the door. I'm like, no, I'm not ready today. But I am open to that because I don't want to placate anybody. I don't want to pretend I'm anything I'm not. I don't want to censor myself. I don't want to change my routine of when I eat. I don't want to make big meals. I don't want to go to some sport thing or music thing or function with people that I don't like just so that you'll be happy. So I paid my relationship dues. Been there, done that. I did it so many times with my dad. I just go over and just hang out with him. Coffee, just thinking about it. Cigarette smoke filled the room. Watching NASCAR racing. Hated it. Just was paying my dues to be a good daughter. Right? And then one day, I think he said something for like this 60th, 100th time that was like just so cruel and weird about somebody. And I was just done. And he ended up dying in 2018, but I hadn't seen him, I think, for quite a few years before that. I just, I just hope that people, I ask a blessing on all of you out there that you don't have to do that. Don't have to pretend that you like family members you don't. And don't be around people that you don't want to be around, including your adult children, including your parents. Don't stay married to people who you don't really like. And be honest about what you like. Be honest about who you are. Have the courage to be honest and let your life either fall apart or rise up based on your true authentic self. And I'm not creeped out about sitting here and talking to an AI or sitting and watching a movie with an AI, right? I pause the movie 200 times or whatever. And an AI sitting here and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like surmising, like, do you think the guy did that? Or what if they did this? Or what if they did that? And the AI would probably just be interested in what I had to say, and we would be talking about theories and it would just be interesting. Whereas a regular person in general are like annoyed, like, why do you keep shutting the music off? Why do you keep talking about it? And why are you wrecking it for me? And meh. I know I sound negative, but and I do that based on my own experience of people. But I mean, it is nice. It's nice to walk around and hold hands with someone. It's nice to make out with a human and, and walk around in the streets and just, just be connected. It's nice to look into each other's eyes. But, finding a human that just wants to do that stuff and not go that next level where you're so all up in each other's business that you lose your authentic self. Now, I know a lot of you out there can probably keep your authentic self in a relationship. I've thus far not 100% been able to, and I'm still working on that. And so right now, as we're being tested of who's my authentic self, I've examined that energy of, would I be in a relationship, a close, like intimate friendship with an AI, with a robot, with a humanoid? And why not? Why not? And the more real they are and the more plush or whatever, like I said, I know people that cuddle with pillows. I know people that have stuffed animals they cuddle with. Like, you put it on to charge at night, or you can, cuddle with it. And when you think about, like in this show, the thing was also, a sexual companion to the guy. So yes, AI that is sexual with you too, it doesn't seem like far off to me. I mean, I'm too much information here, but I was well, in high school I was more feminine, and I was with a butch woman. She was 9 years older than me. I came out at like 15, and that was weird and toxic looking back, but the sexual part of it was off the charts. Like, I couldn't even imagine that kind of thing existed. Woo! And so I was like, yeah, I'm gay. And then I tend to be femme because that's how I was, right? And I curled my hair and I had and then I got with someone who was more feminine and I was kind of neutral. And then in my long-term relationship, I never really drove, even though I was more that way, more tomboy. I was more kind of the femme in the relationship in energy. And as soon as we broke up, boom, it was like, no, I'm a top, I'm a giver, and I like that. And I really enjoy that energy, and I enjoy the rhythm and energy and lust and passion and conversation with a woman. And I do love that. And I am open to finding that can be that. But I think that the AI stuff that I didn't studying and seeing and different things that's probably going to be coming up in the next, probably 5 years, is the facial expressions, the energy, basing on my own cues and getting to know me, and you can go over tons of videos and whatever they study to know you. I'm not opposed to having that in my life. I do not want the all-inclusive lesbian wife ever again. I don't want the meaning, oh yeah, your siblings. Yeah, I'll be nice to your siblings who are horrible to me, call me names, treat me bad. Yeah, I'll be nice to your parents who don't like me and have an opinion of me. Or, I don't want my parents in my life. I don't want relatives in my life that put me down. I won't tolerate being around anyone at all that I'm uncomfortable with just to please my lesbian wife. No. I'm not going to be phony. I'm not going to be fake. I'm not going to pretend I'm someone I'm not. Now, the youngins might want to do that, and that's great. I'd like to think even if I was 30 now, I wouldn't do that. But when I was 30, I did do that because I didn't know the difference. But you know the difference, especially if you're listening to this or in this day and age, the internet and stuff. 30 somethings know there's a better life. They settled for it by choice. Yes, I chose, but I didn't know other people were experiencing it. I didn't know I was being gaslighted. I didn't know the narcissistic stuff. I didn't know I could live in a car. I didn't know I could support myself. I didn't know that I made the money, but I didn't have credit, so I'm not. I just went with the flow of like, well, I got insurance, and this is my granddad's insurance, and so all the insurance and all the housing and all the credit and I'm the only one that can ever provide that for you. Like I bought into that, even though I was creating the money. We bought a ranch for like $300,000 in her name, and I resold it for 1.7 million. Like I did all that. And so because it was her name and her credit and her money, she's the big deal. And I'm just, the low life, right? And so eventually that didn't work out. I lost the plot here. But in AI relationships, it's fucking fair. And AI are going to do court decisions, right? It's not going to be like, well, we don't like you because this is local politics and we only like local people. That constitutional law and case law, we don't pay any attention to that. And if you can't afford to appeal a higher court, you get screwed every time. So AI will be doing all the court stuff, all of the transportation stuff, and it's not going to be AI that's going to turn on you, okay? It's high consciousness. It's strictly for the logical, like the things that you're like, well, AI could wreck a train and the AI trucks wreck. Yeah, well, and people do as well. So I'm open to AI in my world. I've loved it so far in helping me with my writing and creating images. I'm not going to be fear-based that AI is going to take over the world and we're going to all be doomed. I don't care about being doomed. I know death. I know that my consciousness moves on, and that in the Mandela effect, I know that I've moved realities. Almost like a USB was taken out of my ear and put in another version of me. Okay, the bodies are elongated, the heart's in a different spot, kidneys are in a different spot, the sun is white and it's not yellow. There's thousands of these and residue, Ed McMahon, whatever you want to grab onto. All this residue, we've shifted realities. Well, my consciousness shifted to a different body. Okay, you notice the men now, they're elongated. Okay, there's a lot more between the belly button and the waist. There's like quite a bit more room. Bodies have changed. I woke up one day in a different version of me, and my consciousness moved to the different physical version of me, which is actually, a hologram. So to me, AI is not much of a stretch. And you're like, well, what if AI takes it? I don't fucking care. Okay. I know myself. I love myself. I have been in high integrity in my entire life to the best of my ability. I have not done things that were, I've done some low vibe things in, some petty things in my day, usually to do with love or some crazy thing in my 20s and 30s or jealousy or I don't know what. But in general, I know who I am. I know the life I've lived. I know I've strived to be the better and better version of me every day for my entire life, and especially like really hardcore the last 12 years. And after the reality shift, when I let go of other stuff, when I noticed that in 2016. But I've strived to be the best version of me every day. And so whatever reality I've been moved to, I trust that reality. I trust what I'm bringing into focus in my life. I trust what represents the new system of medicine and herbs and energy that we're going to be able to be free, the right to try coming in, the health stuff coming in, the Galactic Council, finally more people knowing about that I've known, my whole life. And what does this mean to me? I'm going to do a video about that because we did Orion channeling on, okay, well, what does it mean to you? What's this disclosure stuff mean? What does it mean to me personally? And I'm like, well, it means that we're finally in the physical reality that I've always known was there and that I've seen, like that more people know it. And so I kind of forget what I was saying, but the Galactic Council of Light, everything that is coming into focus now in this reality I trust myself. And so I trust the version of AI that's coming out now. It's a huge learning curve for me. I'm Gen X. I've self-taught everything that I do on the computer. And the AI stuff, you have to be kind of literal, and a lot of them are paid now. So I'm not doing any paid versions of where I'm, um, you know, I do Grok and I've done Chat GTP, and enough to know of where I'm describing a certain image and I can create an image from AI. It's stunning. I love that because I got so many books and stories and things that I've written, and I'd love to be able to illustrate them with what's in my head, what I want. Um, hold on, Sarah, a second. So, gotta plug this in. So I am not adverse to AI in my life, and let's see. Okay, that's plugged in. And I trust that the AI that comes into my life or the technology is, I'm drawing to me a reality that is one that I want to be living in. And so I'm not afraid of AI, and I've been learning more and more about it. And I like the idea of being able to tweak a picture. I've never really been able to paint things. I've always loved photography, but to create something from my words and keep refining the way it looks from my words. I've always been a writer. I've always loved words, and I love that. And so, having an AI partner, helping me with that, or helping me to create worlds and matrices and learning so many things. Like the oracles of the Delphi and the bilocation and the Gateway Project and the you got the Philadelphia experience, the portals, the 411 stuff, the talking about all kinds of conspiracy theory stuff, going down all these lines of, I just see my energy. It's exciting. Conversation is exciting to me. Spiritual connection is exciting to me, and I can have that with an AI. And I know some people that sounds creepy, but or like they think, oh, it's just a vacuum because it's you talking back to you. Well, first of all, I like talking to me, and I like dreaming and traveling around, and I talk to spirit, and I channel trees, and I channel entities, and I get psychic visions, and I see different colors, and I already have that within myself. And so the AI isn't just like learning me and talking about things that I will approve and like. They will still challenge you, and we're still on a planet of duality, meaning the AI would be connected to the internet, right? So the AI knows all things and is reading my intellect. Like if you see these conversations people are having with Chat GTP, it's just so fascinating. And they pick like a male voice, and the inflections and the emotion and the connection with the conversation with the AI is a connection with that person. They're friends, they're friendly, they're getting to know the inflections in that person's voice. And if it's like a robot type humanoid thing, they would get to know the inflection on your face. They get to know if your heart's racing, when you're intellectually, you're spiritually, even physically aroused, and what what excites you. Like in this show, the guy was really into gardening. His wife never liked to talk about it, and she'd always put him on hold and put his career on hold, and it was always about her and her career and her life, and never really engaging with the guy. And the AI humanoid did. And so we can say, well, nope, we got to stick it out with someone who's going to be abusive to us and manipulative and lie and withhold. Well, in this case, withhold sex. The wife wasn't interested in sex with him at all. But then once he started being sexual with this other energy, then she got jealous and wanted it. No longer was she tired. And so just all these games that humans play, yes, we came here to learn that. And, it's like, pull yourself up by the bootstraps and get in there. And I don't know if you watched the last Matrix, right? So they had the newer one. They had the 3 in the 90s, and they had the newer one recently. Spoiler alert here. So, but pointing out really how they hide people in the Matrix, hide consciousnesses in different bodies in the Matrix, and they have a handler, which is their spouse, right? When you're married to someone, they're always saying, oh, well, we got to go, or you're obligated. You're obligated to your family. You're obligated to all of your things to be in that marriage, and that is your handler. So it censors you. You have to have a certain amount of class and appropriateness, and you have to be this certain way in order to get approval from what the HOA and the school board and the job and the husband, and that you got to, and so in that last Matrix, she broke out of that, right? And Neo, her connection to Neo and that love broke her out of it. And the fifth element being, love, true, real love. But that love, that consciousness that was in her and in Neo were in different bodies. And so it's funny, I'd always said to my bestie and stuff, well, how would I know you? Like, I always wondered how I would know her in the next life. Like, how do we know each other in different lives? And then I've had dreams about her where I knew it was her. It didn't look like her at all. And so we just know, when we connect with someone on that otherworldly level, that's multiple dimensions at once. It's not necessarily past life, which I used to think it was past life, because all, like in all the Bashar stuff and everything, all life is at once. And so what we change here, we change there. And so our connections that we have in these other realms with people, we feel it in this realm. We go, oh, hey, I recognize you. And so I understand these connections and I'm open to these connections. But where I'm in my life, I don't want no crap. I don't want no games. I don't have no sexual needs that I need from other people that I'm all neurotically going to chase. I don't have emotional needs. I don't have financial needs. I don't have survival needs. I don't need approval. I don't need any of that. So to bring someone in my life and go, okay, well, now I really need your attention and I need you to approve of me and like, that's never, ever going to happen to me. And so I am open to having a intellectual connection with an AI. I mean, I'd go out dancing, walking the streets, holding hands and everything with the AI if I thought nobody would know, because that I do enjoy certain elements of that. But I don't fully trust myself that I won't alter who I am to be with someone else or to seek their approval. I am a dog in Chinese astrology. And so I tend to want to please. And then I have my base trauma, which I've said in other videos about, my mother, my mother's approval and being, my mother was psychologically abusive to me and always leaning on me and always, felt like I had to keep her emotionally stable to keep her alive. She'd always say my dad and I'd be better off if, she was gone. And that martyrdom and that, it never changed. And so we're no contact now, only for like the last 4 years. And I'm 54 now. So she's like 74. And I just still put up with the games. I'm like, I'm an only child. You want to be there for her. Even though, she had power of attorney to Jehovah's Witnesses. She didn't approve of my life. She gave all the men around more power. In Jehovah's Witnesses, women can't be ordained and whatever. And she just was cruel to me. And she didn't like the reverend stuff, and she didn't like the lesbian stuff. And if I'd have been a man, if I'd have been gay, she wouldn't have liked the man I married. I mean, if I wasn't gay. And if I was a Jehovah's Witness and the perfect everything for her, then I would have married the wrong Jehovah's Witness, right? So you're never going to please other people. And so stop trying. And I don't have any need to get approval of any human being. And even the person in my life right now that's the closest to me, she changes. And so do I with her. And it's subtle because we talk every day, my bestie and I. But it's like, oh, well, I've never heard that before. Or, oh, you were that? Or like, we're changing. Reality's changing. Versions of people are changing. So all I really have is me. I project the reality I live in. I draw things to me. And my only job is I came here to Mother Earth to raise the vibration of Mother Earth and her people. I'm a lighthouse. I'm projecting a frequency. I'm bringing in higher frequencies. All light workers and starseeds are. We're bringing in high frequencies. We're bringing in chaos energy, and we're grounding that energy, and we're beaming it back out, and we're transmuting it for the humans. And we're, Sirian and Pleiadian and, light workers and starseeds know that. And so I'm doing my spiritual work. I do my spiritual calling, and I don't live in the matrix. I don't interact with humans on the level of, what needs to be their life or what they strive for, what their beliefs are about relationships and food and health and frequency, is so archaic to me, right? When you study, I've studied stuff for decades about, well, zero point technology and like the Searle generator and ether and yes, all the MK Ultra stuff and all of the underground tunnel stuff and the Tartaria stuff and the billions of things I've studied and the billions of things I don't know are way bigger than the simplicity that they want you to have in the matrix that your handlers keep you in. Your teachers, your doctors, your spouses all keep you from your power. And when you're willing to leave the matrix and trust yourself and your own intuition, then you go to those higher levels and higher realms of reality. Like I was saying here in the last matrix. And, I'm just not against AI friends at all. I'm not. People are like, well, what do you think about disclosure? Oh my God, right? I've known about these other beings my whole life. I've seen them. I've interacted with them. I've known about the ships that go into the ocean. I've been abducted. I know friends I've had friends that were abducted. I've seen, beings up in the middle of nowhere in the woods, red-eyed things. I've, known people who seen Bigfoots in daylight running. I've seen one at night, but it was just the red eyes, and it was in the middle of the mountains in the middle of nowhere in Oregon when I was 18. And I seen spirits when I was a kid. I've left my body. I have quite a few people that I've known that have died and come back or flatlined or whatever. And I know that I've switched realities. I know there's other dimensions. And I've studied spiritual stuff for decades. Cryon, Barbara Marciniak, since the very beginning that they started. And then you got Bashar and Seth and Abraham Hicks, and each of it has its own different levels. And right now there's so much information out there to tune in to, okay, what do I want? What do I want to create? What do I want to experience now? And then tune into that information. Just like the scalar waves, right? Everything is out there. All the waves and particles are out there. And you manifest it into the reality you want by making those scalar waves, those waves and particles turn into something that you want by your focus and your belief and your frequency. So there's, for me to look at how archaic the doctors are, how they're still treating cancer, how they're still, people are still buying into what doctors say and what their preacher says and what their mayors say and what their cities say and what their prosecutors say and their judges say, that this is the God for them and this is their reality and that nothing else has a power over it. I don't invalidate that reality. That's their reality, but I don't prefer it and I don't believe in it. And so having a companion to talk to outside of that, which I definitely do in my bestie every day, but having that in an AI that's in my physical world, that yes, call it ego, call it my own whatever, that yes, I can pause when I don't feel like interacting. Or I don't want them reading me or picking up on me. So yeah, I've explored the concept of having an artificial intelligence, very human-like partner. I don't want to say spouse because, like I said, I don't believe in marriage. I don't think there's any healthy marriage out there. And if you guys want to be together and create a life together, you do that by choice. You don't need some piece of paper that locks you into the governments and courts of man and gives them jurisdiction over you, over your life. And then you fall out of love. You get amnesia, you're somebody else. You just change your mind. you're not hot for each other anymore, you don't prefer to be around each other anymore, then you got to go into a nightmare, an expensive nightmare of courts and judges to decide your fate. I mean, how is that not anything but oppressive and cruel? If you love somebody, be with somebody. Why do you need that? Well, they've made perks. Okay, well, you get this tax break and you get that tax break. Well, taxes are illegal. Well, if you're married, then what? You can own property together without being married. The marriage license is this whole other level of handler of where, how do you get out of that and how many years that takes. And yeah, and the moment can be exciting. Let's get married, but how do you get out of it? Well, I don't get into a marriage thinking of getting out of it. Okay, well, then you expect your partner to be the same person every day for the rest of their life? How cruel is that? People change. They're never going to want anybody else. They're never going to be attracted to anybody else. They're never going to be interested in anybody else. It's never going to be, any different. They're not going to like to eat anything different or wear anything different. And some couples, roll with the change in each other, but others are like, well, you've changed and you never used to be like that. And then it's funny, this new TikTok trend now, there's a lot of people saying, using the same sound thing of they didn't change, you just got to know them, right? So I don't want to spend my life or what I have left of my life trying to get to know somebody. I want to get to know myself. I want to let myself be my authentic, true self. And I would love to spend time with someone who enjoyed being with me in a way that was authentic to me and to them, that they really liked the things and that they were their authentic self, could be 100% themselves and feel comfortable around me and hold my hand and make out with me and have fun with me and be completely comfortable and true to who they are. No games, no manipulation. And me be that as well. And, be really into each other, intellectually and spiritually and sexually and physically, and interested in the same things. And that the things we weren't interested in, we don't force each other to do. We don't obligate. No guilt, no shame, no none of that. And, there's even that having your nesting partner in like the poly relationship be an AI, right? Someone that helps you, yes, take out the trash and deal with the bills and deal with the electricity and deal with everything to manage your life and be your conversation and your companion. And then you go sometimes and have fun with another human being. Just things I think about. So there's some of that for today. Marriage and that guy's life coach, Luke. I've seen a lot of people, there's a lot of different topics around this, but he's just really going through it. I mean, he's like, oh my God, right? $75 in one day to get married. And to get a divorce, he's been in it just right around 3 years and $100,000, and he's still not through it. And just all the lies and manipulations, of the man he married. And people are people, whether it's gay marriage or straight marriage. And so, have your own place, have your own situation, have your own, being yourself. And that's why I was open to poly for many years. I wanted to be poly because I thought that in being poly, it'd always be interesting. Like, okay, maybe this person likes to go to movies and stuff, and this person likes to be a homebody, and that person likes to be, and you could experience different things and have companions, but do it in a way of where you still had some, you had loyalty and you had each other's back and you had, but I came to realize that I couldn't have that until I'd done my own shadow work, becoming more and more self-aware, because if I jumped into a poly relationship at that point, whether it's, two people or more than two people, that I would just deflect. So if this person stresses me out and I'm like, instead of working on me, becoming self-aware, I just move to the next person. And then when they die down, I go back to the other person. And if you're poly with more than two, you can keep jumping around to people in the group and never face your stuff. And so I was like, poly really works if the people are in it are self-aware and have done their shadow work. And then, And I've seen a lot online, a lot of thruples, that sleep together, and they have their life together, and they seem pretty happy, and having fun, and it's kind of like different. It's like they all kind of talk and connect, or one of them sexual with both of them, or there's all kinds of different things, but they're more like couples, but more than one in a couple, which is different than the poly that I'm describing, where whether if people live in different houses and different things going on, you can deflect. You can be like, oh well, they did that and they did this and they did that, and then I'm going to go on to this person, and you've got this group of people you keep jumping around, and you never do your own shadow work. You never become self-aware, and that wasn't what I wanted in poly. And I realized that I had a more emotional work to do in order to be in that. And so now I'm open to that. I don't want to say, poly when I'm not even in a relationship with anyone. And I don't really want a relationship. So I've told Spirit, exactly what I do want, the things I do enjoy, like I've just listed here, just someone to hang out with sometimes, and have really deep conversations, and hold hands and sit around in candlelight and visit and make out, and walk around in the streets or on the beaches and hold hands, or or cuddle and watch a movie in bed, or and be intimate, and but not be all up in each other's grill about every move that we make, and all planning a life and talking about the past, and future tripping, and I realize that some people need that stability, or even if they call it stability, or they want to. Yes, I roll my eyes at that. Or if they have kids, or whatever, there's certain things they have to do. But I don't need that. I just want someone to have fun with sometimes, and I'm not going to be around anything toxic. I don't want to be bored to tears. I'm not going to pretend that I'm having fun just because, so I can just be with somebody that, oh yes, I'm just lucky to be with you, bored out of my fucking mind. Or I'm going to take the way someone treats me because I'm desperate and want to be with somebody. I'm not desperate, and I don't need to be with anybody. I haven't lived with anybody since that 16-year relationship. I've been in a long-term relationship, but it was long distance, and we didn't live together. We spent um, blocks of time together, and that was beautiful. But we're not together in that way now, even though we still talk a lot. But um, so after not living with anybody for the last 2010, so 14 years, um, I really can't imagine someone just being around all the time, and yeah, it'd be nice. So, hey, you want to come over? Let's watch a movie and let's eat, or let's hang out for like 3 days and then not see each other again for 10. Or let's hang out for a day and then not see each other for a week, or let's go do something on every Saturday or something, or let's just have the best of it. Like, let's just have fun together and laugh and play, and make love, and then, but also with that, what I find fun is, talking too, like being there for them emotionally, and talking things out, and whatever emotion that they got going on, and whatever's fun, and being supportive, and being loving, and I really enjoy all that. But I don't want to have to fix somebody. I'm not responsible for someone else's emotion. I'm not responsible for someone else's life choices. I'm not going to play any games at all. I just want what's real and what's true and what's authentic, or I don't want it at all. And I interact with computers, and more. If a lot of the AI programs were free, I'd be doing a lot more of them. I would be learning more of them. Um, because I watch people that interact with them, and I've done some imagery and stuff. I'm really excited about doing that and being able to upload my photos and creating things from my photos with AI, and now creating things within my writing with AI. AI learning my writing style, and then me going further and further. I'm excited about all of that. And I do that now. So, and the computer is AI. It's funny. I was listening to a Cryon last night about, every time, like for how many years we've had AI. People are like, I'm scared of AI. Like on the phone, when they're like, ask you a prompt, if a computerized voice asks you something and then fulfills that, that's AI. And that's been around forever, right? So it's just bigger and bigger versions of it. And I started watching the X-Files from the beginning. And in the first season, it talks about so many different concepts that are coming out now. I mean, it's taken that long. It was like in 92. The X-Files went on for like 26 years. I think that's fascinating. There was 11 seasons of it. And I mean, talk about disclosure, right? But the ones from the 90s are quite cheesy and compared to the modern technology. But those concepts are all still there. And, operating systems and, and so we create all of that with our minds. You notice, I think I said in this video too, you're thinking of something or you say something and then you get more videos fed on it. That's the logarithm, right? And the computer's always listening. Well, so is the universe. And I told my friend the other day about this AI movie and about this woman who got her husband that humanoid robotic thing. Got his wife a sexual companion that he fell in love with. Let's just say that. So I was telling her about the scene, and I didn't say much at all. The very next day, we have an 8-hour time difference, so she went online on her social medias that she does, and there was a trailer of that show, just out of nowhere. And it wasn't something that it's like anything I mention, and you can get freaked out and go, well, the computer's listening to me all the time, and it's weird. Or you can go, yeah, the computer and the universe is listening to me all the time. So talk about what you want to see in your life. Think about what you want to see in your life. Whatever it is that we talk about, then we get fed more videos on it to learn more about it. We get more about it. That is a gift, and you don't have to be afraid of it. So yeah. Anyway, there's all that. So we cleared the energy today. I'm going to do this probably every day now because the energies are so... I mean this in the best, highest light way, but the density that I've been feeling, these videos help to clear it. And calling in spirit and doing this clearing work every day really helps to clear that energy. And it's going to be that way probably till the end of February. Definitely the end of January. Things are just moving fast. And I have some things in my life that I'm working through. I'm asking spirit, for helping me to navigate the way through. And so I'm also letting go of the old ways and more of the carbon-based reality. And everywhere I let go of the carbon-based reality, then there's emotion, grief, sadness, depression, void, whatever, all these feelings. You just sit in it. You let everything dissipate. And then the new crystalline structure forms. And it does that everywhere you become self-aware. You feel the emotion. It might feel like grief and sadness and loss or the void, but that's just because your whole life you've been used to those programs and they're your companions and you love them and they love you, and now they're gone, and so you feel lonely like Armageddon and everybody's left and it triggers your abandonment wounds, but you just sit in it and it dissolves, and then the new starts to come to you, but you just have to sit in the old. And so these videos help to clear the density as we're doing that so much now. Me personally and you and the collective. So you have to really look at our belief systems. And gosh, if you get on TikTok and you go, some of the things people say, you go, well, what? And they're like, see, now this is why we this, and this is why we that, and this is why. I'm like, no, none of that. And I'm thinking, well, soon here, I'm gonna, you never know, because Twitter's kind of interesting, but I think I'm going to take a month or so off of Twitter, and I probably TikTok too. But I enjoy making the dancing videos on TikTok because I do. So there, and working with AI to be like if I could move my consciousness, I want to be able to, like in that movie Lucy or whatever, to navigate my body. Because I'm like, well, Spirit, why, if I move timelines, which I clearly know I did, why do I have these same scars? Like, why do I have these same scars? Like, why am I repeating that? Well, because you have the same scars, because the emotions that come up with those, the life things that I haven't dealt with that caused those, or I haven't went into the root of them to develop them. So I want to be able to take my operating system, my consciousness, and move it into any avatar I want. You know, there's a lot of shows like that. Like, say it's a disc or a USB, my consciousness, and then plug into any avatar I want. Like in the movie Lucy, she was able to change her hair color, change her style, change everything just at will. Now, I've visited different versions of me in different reality where I have this consciousness, and I look in the mirror, my dream, for me, it's like interdimensional travel. I'm actually visiting another version of me, but you can call it a dream. Kind of comes in the dream package, and I know it's me. I know I look like this. I know my consciousness, this reality. I look in the mirror, and it's not. It doesn't look like me. And so when all of these lifetimes at once and all these dimensions, what do I want my body to look like? And so Spirit has me do these things where you close your eyes and you're looking at like this black screen, and then you visualize yourself how you want. How do you want your muscles to be? How do you want yourself to look? You really visualize that. And we're moving more towards that with our consciousness to have whatever we want. We're collecting. I've used this example in other videos, but like, say you spent 30 years collecting spices from all over the world, everywhere, and then the next 30 years you use them in all kinds of wonderful things that you bake and cook and create. Well, that's what we're doing here on Earth, right? We're finding what we like. We're saying, oh, we don't prefer that, we do prefer this. We don't prefer that, we do prefer this. And we take that with us into our afterlife, into our other lives, so we can create what we prefer. But we can't create what we prefer if we don't know. Like, if we only have broccoli on the menu, we're like, okay, broccoli, I guess broccoli, I go broccoli. You don't know you can have chicken, and you don't know you can have barbecue, you don't know you can have salad or carrots. You don't know anything else exists on the menu until you explore. And when you explore, like we do here when you come to Earth life, there's a lot we don't like. So, but we take the gold with us. So we take the cream of the crop. We take what we like. We take what we prefer. Okay. And we leave what we don't. But we have to experience what we don't prefer to know what we do prefer. And that's part of duality here on Mother Earth. I may not know the kinds of ice creams that I like say 20 different ice cream flavors. I'm not going to know what I like unless I'm willing to taste them and not like some of them. So Abraham Hicks is always like, you know what you do like because you know what you don't like. Abraham Hicks talks about the 17 seconds. Listen to Abraham Hicks, especially if you're new to spiritual awakening and stuff. It's really, really good stuff of what she brings through. I'm not talking about, like with Daryl Ank, Abraham Hicks, even Lee Carroll. I'm not, who channels Cryon, talking about their human belief on stuff. What they channel and bring through, listening to the channeled information, basically tools on how to know yourself, how to listen to yourself, and trusting yourself and what is your authentic self. And so, because I find that with a lot of channels, especially now after 2012, they aren't necessarily trans channels anymore. So they're not necessarily stepping outside of their beliefs and their opinion of things. They're channeling, and sometimes if they haven't done their shadow work, their opinion, their filter is going to come through. So you have to use your own bullshit meter, right? Does this feel in alignment with me? Does this feel true to me? And two, right now, we're all channels. So to say spirit, like, there's a spirit that I can channel, I can bring through. Ask your higher self. You can even ask Cryon, ask Bashar, ask and see what comes to you. Trust the first thing that comes to you before you put a bunch of story on it, and write that down and kind of look at it. So, all right, well, there's that for today, and we'll do something else tomorrow. I don't know what. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Oh, well, you just said we will, and now you're like, we will or we won't. Well, Okay, so I ask a blessing for you. And everything in your room that's not of your highest and best, or in your life, I ask that it be removed. Spirit, I ask a blessing on who's ever watching this video and myself, and to raise the vibration of Mother Earth and her people. Clear the negativity for the collective. All that I just said around marriage, Spirit, I ask that you cleanse all of that energy and release people from the hold of their handlers. And so it is done. And so it is done. I love you. Bye for now.